Well, hello, my lords and ladies, and welcome to another episode of our Chronicles of Drunagor. And we are going to have a ton of this coming up, so stay buckled in. If you're a fan of Chronicles of Drunagor, this is your channel. So hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, hit the bell so you alert every time we go live with a new video. This week's going to be kind of a slow week, so I was out of town last week, so hopefully we can pick it up for the next following weeks coming up. But as always, I want to thank all my YouTube members. Thank you for you. You guys are absolutely amazing. I can't thank you guys enough. You guys are the backbone of why I do this. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Pretty easy, but without further ado, let's go. Alright, so I had spray painted this all in black and then did a white zenithal highlight from above. And after that, we're going to take some of this Barak-Nar Burgundy. Hope I said that right. And we're going to put that all over our robe area of our wizard or mage. He's actually a mage, not a wizard. So follow along with what I'm doing. And in the next frame, if you want to pause it and see exactly where I painted all of this burgundy color, you absolutely can. Now once that is completely dry, we are going to do a dry brush of Mephiston Red. And as you can see, I'm using a flat brush and I'm trying to get those raised areas only. This is going to create that nice red look that he has in the card art if you have the expansion for this game. Next, we're going to do exactly the same thing except for a Wild Rider Red. And you'll notice that you're going to get this all over the place. Not a big deal because we're going to paint over that here in a little bit. And the reason why we're doing this first is we're going to be doing the robes with some dry brushes first because once you did it, it's done, it's over with. And the dry brushing does make a mess, which is evident by this video and if you are doing it as well. Next, we're going to do the other portions of the mage's robes. And we're going to use some Night Lord's Blue painted on there. Make sure you're thinning it. Make sure that you have a nice consistency. It's not straight out of the pot. Citadel paints are not made to be painted from right out of the pot. You need to thin it with some water. Just a little bit. Make it a nice little consistency, and you want to put thin layers on there rather than one gloopy mess straight out of the pot. I'm sure you guys already know that, but just in case you didn't, that's what we do, and that's what gives you that nice little subtle paint on there. Alright, once you are satisfied with your original base coat, there should already kind of be like a natural highlight from the white sticking through already. But we're going to do a dry brush of Altdorf Blue. I know I butchered that, but the same thing we're doing with the other parts of the robe, same thing. And then we're using that flat brush again for some Hoeth Blue on the top portions. So again, we're doing these first, knocking them out, and then once we're done with those, we are done with those. And I it'll somewhat be our focal point besides the face on our mage. Alright, moving on, we're going to do a little bit of speed painting. This flesh works very well over a zenithal highlight or even straight white or gray while painting this on. So we're going to do all the skin tone and Gulliman Flesh. For the hair on our mage, and if you noticed, once that Gulliman Flesh is dry, it does look very good with that undertone. So we're going to put some gray Seer on the hair, which is the beard and the back hair and the cul-de-sac that is going around our mage's head. If you know, you know. And we're also going to do this onto the eyebrow, so be careful on that. Alright, here's a very time-consuming portion of this miniature, is the edges. We're going to use some Tau Light Ochre, or whatever kind of orangish, yellowish tone that you got. This is all over. The robes, the front portion of the robes, the big thick section on the bottom, all of that. So follow along, this is a very long portion of this video. 2 full segments. Alright, for the belt buckle area, or the belt itself, we're going to do some Zandri Dust. And we're going to put that all over the place. For the bags, the saddle bags and all of that, we're going to do some Mournfang Brown. Just put that on there. Nothing really more needs to be said about that. For the mage's staff, Arkanos, I think is that how you say his name? I don't know. Steel Legion Drab on that entire area. For the pieces of parchment coming out of the sack on our mage's back, we're going to do some Morghast Bone. Pretty simple. For the book, we're going to make it purple. Now, I don't know, you can do whatever you want on this, but this is a speed paint, so put whatever speed paint you want on there, because you really don't need to do a whole lot after this. I kind of wanted to feel like maybe he was a necrotic mage or a necromancer, so I went with purple, thinking, I don't know. That's just where my head's at. Do whatever you want. For the buckles on the front and back, some Retributor Armour. Again, nothing crazy. Alright, the only wash we're going to use is this Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to put this on the bottom portion of our miniature. That kind of fills in those little gaps, I guess you could say, little designs in the mage's cloak robe area, and we're going to paint over that. And that should be another real fun event that we're going to have here in a little bit. And you'll notice that there is like a rock or a gem that our mage is holding. I did the same color, Aethermatic Blue, for the stone in the staff, and then whatever our mage was holding. And then his eyes are going to be the same color, but we'll do that here in a little bit. Alright, I know it's bright because it's on white, but we're going to paint the pupils in with the white, and then we're going to use this white just on strands of hair on the beard and on the mustache, the eyebrows, the cul-de-sac, and the back mullet that our mage has. For highlighting up the skin, we're just going to raise up some of that Cadian flesh tone on the bridge of the nose, the cheekbones, the forehead, the top of the cul-de-sac, which is the top of the head, and the ears, the tips of the ears as well. And to brighten it up just a little bit more, we're going to take some Kislev Flesh and put that in those same areas just to brighten up. So more of the bridge of the nose, more cheekbones, more top of the head, where the sun would hit it, and the tips of the ears as well. To outline our magical stones, I guess you could say, we're going to take some Gas Blaster Green, or Gauss Blaster Green, and we're just kind of hitting those edges. It's kind of got a rough stone look, so we're just going to hit those edges real quick. Alright, now the real fun part is we're going to go over the Tau Light Ochre area again, and we're going to do it with some Ungor Flesh. You don't necessarily need to do this. You can do a lighter, you can do a yellowish, you can mix some orange, a light orange with a light yellow and do that. So yeah. But it does take quite a bit of time. This took me more time than it should have. And we're also going to do this on the bottom where we put the Agrax Earthshade on. And you got to paint around all of those little spaces in there. So it is real exciting. Alright, for our leather sacks, we're going to do a little bit of Doombull Brown on there. So just go over those raised areas. Nothing too crazy on that. And then those pieces of parchment paper, we're just going to put some Karak Stone on top of them. So again, nothing too crazy. And like I had mentioned earlier, we're going to put just a little bit of Aethermatic Blue in those eyes. It matches with the two things. That's kind of the look I was really going for. Alright, well, on to the base. He's set on a bunch of rocks, so let's just put some Basilicanum Grey. You can thin this as much as you want. The thinner the better, because then that white will stick through and it'll give you that natural appearance of a rock that our mage is standing on. So that's kind of what I did. And then your favorite part of painting this miniature, because it means you're done, is the rim of the base. And we're doing an Abaddon Black. And that's it. We'll do a spin around here in a second. But if you don't have this, you can use this technique on different mages. I feel like this is, if you have those wavy robes, this might be the most effective way to paint them, with the dry brushing first to get it all done and just moving on from there. I think it turned out pretty well. Obviously, it's not going to win you a competition, but that's not what we're striving for here on the Nerd Knights channel. I'm trying to get these miniatures on the table, and that will suffice to getting it on the table. So if you don't specifically have this miniature, but if you want to learn something about painting robes, this is a pretty good way to do that. So, you know, it is what it is. So I just want to say thank you for everybody who watches this channel, who supports me, who supports the channel in general. I love you all, especially my YouTube members. And you guys do get early access to this. Any member gets early access to all these. But without further ado, we'll have our normal 3 videos next week. I love you all. I'll see you in the next one. Paint on.